Sigma males are the most mysterious in the world. They understand the concept of being socially inclined, but prefer to be alone, which is why they are labeled as loners. Sigma males prefer to do things on their own without depending on anyone, so they acquire all the necessary skills to be able to execute any project they want to work on. Sigma males like to be alone or with a few of their friends, so most of the time you won't find them at any social gathering unless it's important and they have no way to escape from that social gathering. To discover the 5 things that only Sigma men do that other men don't, watch this video until the end. Sigma males are self-sufficient and have several abilities to offer. In other words, they are the most sought-after group of males by both women and men. The first thing a Sigma male does differently from others is face his fears. Thus, when Sigma males face their challenges, they usually know how to face their fears. Sigma males are most active when alone and may separate for days, months, or longer to find a solution to the current situation they are facing. They prefer to try to find a solution to the current situation rather than flee for what they fear most, and they believe that all problems have a solution, regardless of their magnitude. They can go ahead and ask for help when necessary, but they will only do so when they know that it is a problem that they cannot solve on their own, because they would rather find a solution on their own than having to seek help from outside. Sigma men take their fears as milestones and prefer to face them as a challenge to overcome rather than being afraid and doing nothing about it. Sigma men have the mentality of seeing their fears as temporary things and not permanent. They know that we all have our fears and that everyone can overcome them if they put their mind to it and find the right way. Therefore, most of the time, when you see Sigma males on the outside, it seems as if they have no fears, but the truth is that they also have them, but they know how to deal with them. They know how to fight their inner battles. We all have our battles that we face individually when it comes to life. Finding a purpose, knowing what to do and when to do it, knowing the type of career we should pursue, knowing if we should be an entrepreneur or if we should get a job and move up the ladder, knowing the person we want to marry, and knowing the qualities we want in the person you want to marry are all kinds of battles or challenges that we face. All of this causes us headaches if we are not properly prepared to fight these battles, and can sometimes lead to depression for some people. Sigma males know how to deal with these situations easily because they know how to step away from themselves and figure out what they should become in life. Sigma males know how to find their purposes before going after them, and they will already map out in advance the necessary processes they will go through to achieve those purposes. For example, Sigma men already know the qualities they want in the woman they choose. Sigma males do not like to launch into things that are not planned, so they may spend 80% of their time planning, while the remaining 20% is for them to achieve those plans. They would rather spend more time planning how to execute any project than have to spend more time executing the project without having a proper way to execute it. They're not afraid to say no. No other type of man can say no as confidently as a Sigma man. They know how to say no easily because they first check whether the request is in line with their activity or their purpose. Once they realize that the petition is not online, they will easily say no so as not to be dragged by anyone. That's why they are sometimes wrongly judged for always being proud and ignoring people. But what most people don't know is that they do it only because whatever the request, it has to be part of their plan for the period in which it is requested. Sigma males respect people's time and also expect people to respect their time. Most of the time, what Sigma males are going to do next week has already been pre-planned the week before, and this is part of the reason they expect any request to arrive weeks ahead of schedule. Aside from emergency cases, Sigma males are reasonable men and will deal with cases based on need and desire. If they realize that a plan can be postponed for a specific period, they will prefer to reject it during that time. But if they see that it is an emergency case that needs to be treated immediately, they sometimes sacrifice their activities to deal with such cases. However, they are more logical than emotional beings and prefer to deal with things based on logic and say no easily when a request does not seem logical enough. They don't compare themselves to others. It is very common among men to compare themselves with their peers. They compare their careers. They compare their relationships, how beautiful their wives are. They compare their achievements. They compare their material possessions, and they compare any physical thing they can see. They compare these things to feed their egos because they believe that the more they have than their peers, the better they are as men. However, Sigma men are not in this category of men because they know their purpose and know what they're supposed to do almost every day of their life. They tend not to compare themselves to anyone, including their male peers. They prefer to focus on their short and long-term goals and make sure they find a way to achieve them. Sigma males celebrate their small successes, but they don't let them go to their heads because they always pursue the bigger picture at all times. They also do not have time to compare themselves with other men because they are always separated from others. Sigma men are lone wolves, prefer not to be found in any social gatherings where men make comparisons. Sigma males are self-confident and believe that everything they have is self-sufficient for them. That is why they do not compare themselves with others, because they know very well that what they have is the best. Other men are often jealous of Sigma males and compare themselves to them, while Sigma males do not compare themselves to any race of men. They practice realistic optimism. In life, there are two types of people. There are those who see the glass half full, and those who see the glass half empty. Those who see the glass half full are optimists, while those who see it half empty are pessimists. Sigma men belong to the category of optimists. However, your type of optimism is different from the general type of optimism. They practice realistic optimism. This is a type of optimism that is only practiced when it is real and achievable. This means that they analyze the issue critically and look for positive ways to achieve things instead of just being optimistic without knowing the solution to the challenge at hand. They do not give up easily because they believe that there is a solution for every problem. That is why they belong to the optimist category. However, instead of giving up in the face of complicated situations or challenges, they prefer to give their all to reverse the situation and make possible what is impossible for others. Sigma men approach life by being realistic optimists at all times. They will always be realistic when setting their goals. They will also be realistic about the things that are achievable and aim to achieve them. They do not set unattainable goals because they take all factors into account before deciding or concluding what they want to achieve. The Sigma male has been the most successful and is the most sought-after male breed. They know this and focus on themselves, which is why some other men tend to copy their style, while Sigma male does not copy other men's styles. Surely you will like to continue learning about Sigma men, either because they make you curious or because you are one of them. Whatever it is, we leave you a list of videos about these wonderful beings. Click on the image you see on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video. This will cause the algorithm to show this video to more men who, like you, are looking for answers